Hey everyone, this is Omar again from WeLikeEnglish.com. And today I was just kind of, I'm working on my kind of project for uh, my course, my studies. And I was just thinking about how when I grew up and I was taking lessons, learning a subject, I came to the realization that, how just schooling was really bad for me. Like I didn't really enjoy school, especially junior high school or secondary school, or what we call in England. I didn't really enjoy it because I never really kind of understood what the teachers kind of said to me. There were some subjects that I could relate to, I could understand because, like, I felt like the teacher and I were on the same level. Like, what I mean is that, like, I knew where I was, and I knew that that level of my understanding could be the teacher could empathize or sympathize with my kind of understanding of the subject. And then there were subjects like for example mathematics, which I took, and we had this teacher who basically just kind of didn't have any notion, any connection with the learners, right? He just kind of came in, he did his explanation on the board, and he's like, okay, this is what you're gonna learn, and he just wrote his kind of thing for the day. So we're gonna learn, say, algebra, and he gave a quick explanation, and then he said, okay, now turn to page this number and do these exercises. And throughout the lesson, all I did was just basically trying to kind of, I spent the first 5 minutes trying to understand what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I asked the teacher, can I have help? And he'll be giving me the same kind of explanation, which I didn't even get. So then I would ask my friend, and he would like tell us to be quiet. So like it was just very difficult to learn in a class, in a classroom. And I think like the reason why I'm talking about this is because I realize here I'm trying to basically, make learning, particularly English, obviously, because that's my specialty, more uh, accessible and like easier for people to understand. So I want to basically help people to be able to learn, right, online, with someone who can, you know, understand what level they're at and help them meet their target, right? And in school, I felt my individualized learning was just never matched, right? So where I was and the teacher's general kind of, putting all the kids like who are on the same level in the same classroom together was somehow going to make us learn more, was actually just not the way. And I still, in my mind, in my kind of experience, as I reflect on my life of my school days, I realize, this whole school system where you have, basic, you have like these levels depending on the type of country you go to. But like, for example, in England, like we have like levels, beginner, middle, advanced. It would be put into these little classrooms where apparently it's supposed to meet our needs, and it never really met our needs. It was just easier for the teacher to kind of basically address a specific uh, area of the topic, because if you had like, if you had different kind of learners put together in the same classroom, it'd be harder for the teacher to manage. And so they try to put everybody with the same level in the classroom together. So what am I trying to get at this? What I'm trying to get at is that, like, I just feel, as I realize, I feel like the way forward for learning in the future, and even like for any subject, is really having some kind of a very small classroom, which could be virtual online, and it could be just physical, like a school where a teacher can directly, cater individual needs. Really, that is the way you're going to get everyone to be relatively good at any subject. So, and I think the way forward for any educational system is to really have something like that. You know, when you put like 40, 50 kids in a classroom together, it's so hard. It's really difficult. I teach at the moment, my high school that I teach English at. It's basically like I have classes that are on average 42 to 43 students per class. And sometimes a good thing and a bad thing, depending on the class. Sometimes the class chemistry is good. Sometimes the class chemistry isn't that good. But my point is ultimately, like, I just feel like 40 students is just, isn't the way forward. And really the way forward is going to be, if we want to make progress in the education world, is really, in my personal experience as someone who is in the education institution, in the education sector, is really having small classes. And which makes sense why like private schools in particular do very well. It's not that the kids are any smarter than the average person. It's just that their needs have been met. Because a teacher can focus and identify a learner's problem at that specific stage in their wherever their progress is, right? So it's a lot easier for a teacher to manage 10 students than it is for a teacher to manage 30 or 40 students. And this is why I really think the future of education is going to be just like online, because but when I say that, it doesn't mean that I don't think the role of teachers are going to disappear. I think teachers are going to still be there. It's just that in order to cater the needs of a lot of learners, you're going to have a better system than just putting a bunch of kids in a school and trying to somehow make them all magically learn. That's just not the way forward. And that doesn't mean to say that schools are not going to be irrelevant, because schools are basically kind of like a nursery, right? It's our parents' way of like putting us in a place so that they can continue working. Otherwise you'll just have a lot of 15-16-year-olds just on the streets causing trouble. So it's more of a kind of like a babysitting place for kids, right? In some respect. Doesn't mean I'm against education system, but I just think that in order for us as a society to make progress in the education sector, it has to be done with the traditional education system plus something else that meets the needs of individuals. And that's the only way we're going to be able to allow, all learners to achieve their potential, basically. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today. So I hope you guys have a good day. Cheers for listening. Thanks.